All right, is that any better? Hopefully you're getting some sound here. All right, looks like we get starting to pick up here. See, Fly Sky, Tank, Nikki. I had to refresh it. I don't know what happened. Crazy thing. Okay, Terry. The other day, instead of coffee, I got my Pepsi. Britta, Tammy B, Mo Magic. Yeah, I've been able to see Nine Chins with the changed name. So I went on my list of names that were removed, and her name was not on the removal on my channel. So whatever happened before was out of my hands. You got Pepsi today too. Okay. I didn't drink Pepsi for quite a few years there. Then I just started. Let's see. All right. Well, I don't know specifically what to talk about today. I know that Rich submitted some paperwork into the courts, and it looks like kind of covered all the bases. At least it looked that way to me. What I don't understand is they keep claiming that they served him when they know they didn't serve him. And the one that really stands out, there's a couple of them, but one of them is when he was standing in front of the courts, and he reminded everybody several days in advance where he would be and what time. And then the other one was when they served his father. And when they found out that they didn't serve him, they didn't correct it. So, this whole thing is kind of a screwed up deal, I think. I think Rich will dig into him pretty good. That whole thing is kind of turned into more of a circus rather than a court action, as far as I don't know if the clerk in there is confused, or if they're just taking everything that Mr. Shockett submits to them is correct in the truth. It just boggles the mind as far as I'm concerned. Tricia, I see you on there. Yeah, you're right, John, it is. Thing that I find most disconcerting is that they get on there and they act so foolish on their channels when they're trying to report back. I'm wondering if they're ever going to get serious and try to make it more factual. And it seems like the attacks on me are getting longer and more often, which tells me they don't have a whole lot to do. And a lot of threats out there. And now they're making it out as if I'm threatening, trying to go after somebody. And I assure you, everything I'm going to do is going to be legal. I'm not going to, threats and stuff that they claim that I'm making. That's all in their imagination. And, they try to call me weird and strange. Where they get the threats and the verbiage is beyond me. It's almost like dealing with somebody with about a sixth grade education and the imagination of a 2-year-old, if you know what I mean. These people don't really make that much sense. And you can almost foresee what they're going to say when you put something up on the channel here. You know that they're going to rip it apart and do whatever they can with it. And that includes, Richard Lutherman in his day was good at his job, and he hasn't forgotten any of it. Just because he don't have a license don't mean he doesn't know the law. The Esquire on the end means that you have a license. It doesn't mean you're that great on there. And I have been looking into the background on some of the other people out there and trying to see how far back do these people go that have the channels that have been attacking us. And I find connections clear back into 2017. Some of these people have known each other quite a while or known of each other. And their ways of attacking haven't changed too much. When you think back, some have been doing this since 2017. To me, that sounds almost close to a decade. You would think they would get a little better at it and a little more professional. There's other ones out there that hate channels, but they're a little more professional about it. Let's put it that way. And these guys, it seems like they don't hate that. They don't want the truth. And if you give them documents, they do everything they can to tear them apart. So they have no respect for the legal system and no respect for anybody's creation on their own channels. And they would rather take that and bring them on their channel because they can't do a good job on their own, apparently. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. Yeah, as far as Jeremy, the longer it goes, the better off he is financially. There's no doubt about why these people are playing their silly little games out there. And the heck of it is, it costs the court system a lot of money. And these guys claim about all the money they're spending. They're making it. They're making it off the people that are supporting them. I mean, it's amazing how much money they collect. To me, it don't make sense. It just don't. But then, did all of you get to see Super Dave's video a couple days ago? He had a case on there where it was pretty similar to this one. And that guy, now he has won his case. And it was only one person, okay? It went for 5 years. That's quite a bit longer than what this went. So, that's no matter how you look at it, this whole thing is built around money. One of the things is that the people, every one of them is being sued. Not one of them has the type of finances for a long time pursuit without some kind of help. I know it's going to get to the point where donations are going to be asked for. Everybody's going to have to work a little harder at making their channels popular. How you doing there, Richard? And I guess you got your stuff submitted. I noticed. seeing the documents you sent in. Give you a pat on the back. The heck of it is, this whole thing kind of went stagnant for a while. I guess part of it is holding off for the bankruptcy, but I didn't know that would stop several cases from proceeding. All this stuff is new to me, so. Big thing with them, I absolutely do not understand why they didn't get you served, Rich, because you told them way in advance where you would be and what time you would be when you're going through the court. And I really don't think they want to serve you. I do think they want to do everything they can to you to make this case or stir the mud around the case and just get reaction out of everybody out there. Yeah, I hope Jeremy is deep in that crap. I just heard my dog bark. Can you guys keep going in the chat while I'm going to bring him in? He's outside. By the way, it's in the 40s here in Iowa. I hope all of you out there are getting a little bit of decent weather, and the sun is out right here. So it's a good day for me. How you doing, Mike? Listen, I'll be right back. I got to get my puppy. He's disturbing the neighborhood. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. These, my neighbors have pups. When I say all of them, I mean all of them. And when one of them goes out there, they call for all the rest of the pups. And then they go to the different fences and start barking back and forth. It's, I guess, the dogs around here like to talk as much as we do. But I'm back. Yeah, Randy Shaka is that. I got a question for you, Rich. I don't know if you looked at his firm, but when I looked at it, and I looked at, they represented DeWitt, Jeremy DeWitt. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was that famous police impersonator down there in Florida. And the guy that defended him was called Emir Shaka. And it said that he was the founder of Shaka Attorneys down there. Is he related to Randall, or is he Randall, or I couldn't quite get it unwoven, if you will, of who he really is, whether he's a relative or what happened. And matter of fact, from the state of Florida, there was a Shaka that appeared before Congress representing somebody. And let's see, they seem to have a lot of influence in the state of Florida, or at least people with that name. But I was wondering if you knew anything about it, Rich. See, I don't understand how he was able to pass the board with the background that he had. And it was still pretty fresh, that background, when he went before the board down there. And they wouldn't accept him in another state, but they accepted him in Florida. And I'm just wondering. Also, there was a Shocket down there that had some kind of workings with BlackRock, and but it was the one of the firms under BlackRock, a construction firm, and the firm itself, BlackRock, is one of the most influential financial institutions in the entire world, and they're one of the very few that actually have headquarters, or not actually headquarters, but offices in China. The more I looked at them, the more I see some funny backgrounds, let's put it that way. And I was never able to nail the relationships of how they're interrelated, but it seems like Florida has quite a few of them. So I didn't know if any of you looked into the backgrounds on these people or not. But, how you doing, Babs? Glad to see you're on here. Mike says he's working at the supermarket under the weather during ski season and Super Bowl weekend in Vermont. Not fun. 19 Chen's waiting in Florida, where there are sanctions for vexation litigation and defrauding the court. Money and possible jail time. And Richard says, all will be revealed. I can hardly wait for it. On here, it's getting some of those people in those that have those channels that all kind of correlate with each other. They're getting pretty vicious in a lot of ways. And they're really trying to intervene in our personal lives. I don't really take kindly to that, especially when they seem to think that I have it out for somebody with an intent to utilize weapons, and that's not the case. Any weapon I have is either for hunting or for defending myself should somebody try to break into my home. And the Constitution says I have that right, but there's sure a lot of people out there think I don't have the right, apparently. And they're trying to make it look as if I'm a loose cannon out there. I assure you that is not the way I think. Matter of fact, you'll find out that I do follow the law, and I'm not afraid to use the law in the manner that it was instituted in the first place. Oh, you mean the one on Belotho? I don't know how that would compromise him. If he's compromised at all, it would be because if he's let the case get away from him somehow. They look at more of the how they work. Remember, he's a magistrate, and he reports back to a judge. And the judge was appointed by Congress. And in a relationship into politics from a legal standpoint, or people that are working in those positions, can be brutal. Believe me, Belothi's boss won't sit down and take things very friendly should he screw up at his job, the magistrate. And if he did screw up, and the judge over the top of him doesn't take care of it, it could get really bad. Anybody that thinks politics don't get involved would be wrong. Okay, when as far as that crowdfunding, where he's getting it's recorded on his videos that he did that he gave out the way to send funds to his lawyer direct. He did that, and it is copied. The fact that he did that, and so if there's any tax owed on it, it won't be because Jeremy raised the money. It'll be the lawyers that once it goes directly to the lawyer has to handle the tax end of it. And you can call it anything you want, but it's what it is more than anything else, I believe. And I don't know how YouTube looks at it, but it's a way to evade paying YouTube funds on money you make on here. So what it does, it completely bypasses YouTube altogether. And whatever the fees that YouTube charges, like in your super chats or your GoFundMe for yourself, I don't know what they think or say about it. I've never necessarily run across it quite that way. But if it's not up front and declared, then the IRS certainly would want to take a look at it when when your income is in the millions. You have to explain it. And for Shockett, I don't know what his real income is. When you look it up, his firm, he certainly wasn't making what Jeremy claims he got from Jeremy. So unless he has no other clients, what was put out on the internet about what his firm makes would be incorrect. I just think it was old information on the internet that I was looking at, because what I did see is nothing more than what somebody in his firm has put up as to income for inquiries when people are looking at him to try to hire him to work for them. This Amir Shockett, who started that firm, I don't know who that is, and I haven't really spent a whole lot of time running it down. I just thought maybe somebody would know. Maybe somebody's dealt with Amir himself. Yeah, you're pretty much right. There hasn't been anything major going on other than the drama that's created out here for the last 6 months or so. There's a little bit of court action, but the action we'd like to see hasn't happened yet. See, when that money's sent directly to the lawyer, it's probably pretty easy for him to find pockets for it, because it's up to him what he wants to charge for any service. So if he isolated a certain service and said that the income was X amount of dollars for that, and I don't know what the legalities from the IRS is in a holding fund. In other words, being prepaid for something that hasn't been completed yet. So I don't know how that works. One thing, when things get slow, and just like Mike said, most of the drama is with the minions. That's actually what's happened. I think that's why there was more heat put on me by these creators of these channels out there. They just didn't have anything to talk about, so they went after mine. And then the other day there for a week, Lisa was kind of slowed down and trying to catch up on her sleep. And they weren't on there as much either. So there were some times there where they had to make things up, I guess. I don't know. I haven't been on the other channels directly to look at them, other than when somebody says, "Hey, you're being talked about over somewhere where it was at." And I go on for a minute or two and then I come back off because it's pretty silly. Oh, I was going to tell you, you can talk about anything on here, fellas. Just don't get me in trouble with what you talk about. But I fixed a baked potato night before last. And for what I do, these are the baked potato itself is the whole meal. It's the center of the meal, the whole meal. But I had some chili beans. They're seasoned a little bit to throw in your chili, and you throw your meat and tomato and stuff like that in there. But this time I just made almost a stew out of it, and I chopped up some green onion. Bell peppers, rather, green bell peppers. And I had this half onion in the refrigerator, so I chopped it in half again, diced that all down small. And I took 2 huge tablespoons of brown sugar, and I threw that in with the beans and that stuff. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, a little bit of salt and pepper, but not a whole lot. Okay. And then I have cheese that I'm going to sprinkle over the top of everything when I put it in there. And I had sour cream on the side. So what I do is I cook these potatoes up, and then I cut them part way, and then I squeeze it together, fluff them up, take a fork and just kind of fluff it up inside the skin. And then I make a pocket in there. And I line the pocket with, I take cold butter and I cut real thin slices, and I line that pocket up inside there. It has to be very thin slices, otherwise it'll look like a yellow bathtub in there when you get done. And then the beans and the onions and the green peppers or bell peppers that I put in there, you fill that way in there. And I took link sausage and I cut it up into smaller pieces. And that had been cooking with the beans as well. So that was in there, and that gives it kind of a kick. And then I do a little Tabasco sauce in that whole mix. Not enough to make it so hot you can't eat it, but just enough to kick it a little bit. And then I load it into the potato. Now, as it was, I had 2 of those potatoes. I was so hungry for them that I knew 1 wouldn't do it, and 2 would probably be too many. But I did it anyway. And I got put them in a paper plate, and put a towel underneath the paper plate because I knew it was going to soak a little bit as I went through this mess. It was super good. I don't know if you've ever cooked up one that way, to put all those ingredients in there. And obviously you can put more or less brown sugar if you want, or Tabasco sauce, any of that stuff that you want. But it was worth it. Now, it took me a little time to cook that than the normal meals I cook around here, because I try to do fast ones. And I didn't think it would taste all that great the next day, so I ate everything before I got from the table. And I paid dearly for it because my stomach isn't that big anymore. I overate for probably one of the first times in the last 6-7 months, but man, was that good. And I plan on doing it again pretty soon. So anyway, that's what I did. And I was trying to get a little bit off the, getting into too many things that upset us in here. Food is always good. Sylvia says you should have a cooking show. If I did, I'd probably make a lot of people sick because I'm not very good cook. I'm one of those, throw it together and taste it a little bit, and if it's okay, I eat it. And a lot of people may not like that, or they may not have a stomach that's, my stomach used to be kind of more of an iron stomach. Now, those green peppers, what you can do, and my wife used to do it that way, she cut the skin off so that she could eat them a little easier, because it's hard to digest skin on that stuff when you get older. And it does give you a lot of gas. So, but you can do it that way. Join the joiner says, yeah, wait, I vote for Ray's cooking show. I tell you what, this summer when I can barbecue outside, I'll do a few barbecues, and I'll keep the camera on it so you can see it. And I'll do it kind of in the style of, do you guys remember Justin Wilson out of Louisiana? he would cook up stuff, Cajun meals, he would. And a lot of my cooking that I do, I kind of copy the Cajun style of cooking when I can. And a lot of it has to do with a little bit of seasoning and whatever's available. You go in the refrigerator and you start throwing stuff on the counter, and you try to keep your roux or your base at triology, and you cook it all up. Now, the one thing that Wilson did, he always kept good wine out there that he used with his cooking. He said that, well, if you ever watched him, he'll always take a little glass of wine, he'll go a little bit, and he said, that tastes good. So if it tastes good, it'll taste good when you cook it too, in your food. So he said he wouldn't cook with a meal, anything that he didn't like to drink. So and I love different seafood. And I know a lot of people don't like oysters, but I really do like oysters. There's a lot of ways you can fix them, and you don't even have to fix them if they're raw. You just eat them, but put a little hot sauce on them. Back in the day, I'd set that oyster bars down there in Louisiana, and chunk about a dozen of them down with a couple beers, and that always made for a good evening. Yeah, that image, that muscle image is behind me there. I don't know if I got anything I can reach over there. I did have a big long scratcher. I wonder what happened to it. I bet you my pup took off with it. The little shit. We darned. My cat and my pup, I have a couple back scratchers around, and they love to get scratched with it. And if I leave it out, they both will play with the darn thing. I think I had it in here, and one of them took it. Probably my pup. I'll find it in pieces out there looking like a bunch of toothpicks pretty soon. Yeah, Mike, that would be good. I wasn't a big Spam fan, but I don't mind putting it with other things. I don't make Spam the center of the meal, but I make it as kind of a filler for things. And it works good for me. It's pretty salty. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the sausage I used, put in there with the beans and stuff. It has maple syrup in it, as well as being a link. I like that little bit of sweetness in there with the seasoning. Seems to make it taste pretty good. And I'm a big fan of maple syrup. And I keep in my refrigerator, you'll probably find a quart there at any one time of it. And I love it on pancakes and waffles and things like that. Yeah. You know, it actually wouldn't be a bad idea to get a few people around and do barbecues and put part of it on the film. You just throw the camera on there, and then you just, the stuff you don't want to show, you can just eliminate it off before you load it. Ed says, I like oyster sauce, but oysters are not one of my favorites. The way I tell you, one of the ways, you know, when you cook an oyster in the shell itself, you can season it just about any way you want. And you got to think of what you'd really like it for taste in there. And it doesn't have to be hot sauce. I mean, it can be, you know, a roulade of some kind made out of mustard, and, you know, you can even throw a little Worcester sauce in that and hot sauce a little bit, and different seasonings that just don't overpower it. And you can tell when it's about done, you know, just press it a little bit, and, you know, you cook it till it loses the slime part, if that's what bothers you, the slime. But you'd be surprised that the sauce itself and the oyster, I mean, it is really great. You know, they put a little spinach on it and cook that down with the butter and garlic, and man, pretty soon you built a sandwich, if you will, around that oyster out of all those seasonings that you can only dream about sometimes. So. I think I might have chased everybody away with going to food. There's not too many on here now. Now, we won't stay on here too long anyway today. I didn't know what to bring to talk about. The reason I don't talk a whole lot right now about the court stuff is there just hasn't been a whole lot going, and most of it is the attacks that are going on. They're personal attacks, and they don't really amount to much as far as court information. The attacks don't. It just shows the stupid things that they say, and they say things that have really no real meaning or anything to do with the person they're talking about. They just throw it out there and hope all the people that follow their channel believe everything they say. And I think in most cases they just follow the germ, or Jeremy, or whatever you want to call him. And you all know some of the things that he says, how much validity you can put in it. It's not a whole lot. His big thing or claim to fame around there is thinking up new names for you that they're anything but Christian, that's for sure. And it's not anything brand new for these people to use some of that stuff. And they've repeated some of the names from that they used on other people into the people that are within the realms of this go around with the Hales group. Brisket. Mm-hmm. You know, I haven't had their briskets quesadilla. Oh, now I'm having trouble. I'm tongue-tied today. Quesadillas. That's what I'm trying to say. Tammy says, I'm still here just listening. Edie, he's always done that. Yeah. Did Nine Chins come on here today? Because I didn't see him. Ed says he's never had brisket. It used to be a real cheap piece of meat. It's not so much cheap as anymore. And if you don't cook it just right, it turns out very tough and greasy. So you really don't want to cook it fast. Cook it slow. And some people will take part of the grease off. And, oh, okay, he's here, but you can't see him. Okay. I could see him on Lisa's last night. Top chat. I'll put it in my. Whoop. Huh. It doesn't want to change to live chat. It is in top chat up here, though. I'm not in live. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Now, all right. I turned it over to live chat. Okay. Will that allow him back in? Yeah. Oh, there you are. 9 chins. I can actually see you. It looks like you've been making was a seat on here more than anybody else. You got a crown with a number 1 on there. Oh, heck. Well, just so you show up on here, let's see. I'm gonna put it up and put you so I can see you, if you don't mind, 9 chins. Yeah, it's. I think the crown or the status of the crown is depends on how many times you posted in the chat. That's the only thing I can think of. Ruth says you don't see 9 chins. I'm in live chat, so go to the top up there and punch the live chat. Boy, I almost lost my power. There. I forgot to plug it in my computer. I was using it out in the living room, and I brought it back here in the office. Yeah. Okay. Go up in there on the left-hand side of the chat. Okay. And you've got a choice of live chat or top chat. Put it in live chat, and 9 chins will show up. Yeah. Yeah. His name on there is 9 chins dash waiting. So. I don't know if I'm subscribed to 9 chins or not. I'll have to look his channel up. I don't remember if I would or not. Nine Chin says, he was a naughty boy. My users got me shadow banned for having fun on YouTube. Shame on YouTube. Yeah, that's another thing that gets me. Some of these people get away with stuff that, you know, I had used Jeremy's voice on my channel a year ago and did an interview. And he struck it. No cease and desist letter, nothing like that. He just struck it. And they took it down. Now, as it was more like a blog that I had made. So I have the original. And I'm glad I made it original. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't like it was a whole show or anything like that. It was pieces of a show that he had put on. And it wasn't done any differently than the things that they do. They come in and do chop up mine all the time. Sometimes they just, I guess the other day they had it on, they put it on one of their shows over there. I don't know if it was Facebook or whatever it was. Maybe it was X. I have no idea. And they were going live off my live. They're so bored. And you know, they don't mind stealing your show or your goods to put on theirs. And I chose, at this point, I don't show them down. I just keep records of the stuff. And when the court time rolls around, anything that I need on it, I'll be able to use it. They're making money off my channel, and they've done it without permission. And on my channel, it doesn't show up there, but it is copyrighted. And I haven't given anybody permission to utilize it. And I don't plan on it. I'm not going to give anybody. And I do plan on monetizing my channel here pretty quick. Be working some things out with YouTube itself. And the money that I raise on here is going to go towards my legal fees, which I figure once they straighten things out a little bit, then the paperwork's going to start, and I may have to have a lawyer at that point. And I don't want to be caught without finances of some kind that I can utilize, especially after I found out that guy that Dave talked about spent almost $500,000 over a 5-year period, although he won his case, and he will be able to get the money plus back before it's all over with. But you don't always win your cases. It isn't a sure thing till you get it, till you get that win in your pocket. So. Oh, heck. What was wrong with your Jeep, John? There's Marla. Yeah, good afternoon, Marla. Marla, I know you do a little bit of looking around on the internet. The founder of Shockett's firm, it shows it doesn't have the name, the founder as Randall. I think it has a personal email. I was wondering if you've looked at it and know who that is, if it's a relative or if it's just the name that Randall doesn't use. This is his real name or something. I don't know. But he was the one that actually represented Jeremy DeWitt. And what was I thinking? No way he wins, Mr. Ray. Listen, strange things have happened out there. And this type of lawsuit, if you look out there, you're going to find some cases where people get away with a lot of stuff you'd never dream. And a good friend of mine, I had talked to him, and he knows some pretty top people in Florida. And I can't repeat, everything on the conversation, but just to tell you that there's no such thing as a sure thing in a court of law. And money buys a lot of influence. So, and I was told the big thing is knowing your lawyer and who the lawyer knows. That was advice that was given to me by somebody that is involved in court a lot and has the money to back up what he says. So more money than I'll ever see or have ever seen. Now, Ruth, I hope you don't think that he owes $444,000. Don't forget, he's been paying the lawyer all along. And if you listen to him long enough, you see that there's a lot of donations went his way. Okay. And it's a money-making operation. If you were to sit down with a good bookkeeper, they could probably tell you almost to the dime how much he's making right now. And when you're not spending your own money, you're spending somebody else's, you don't mind doing that. So think of it this way. The people following are financing his little operation, and he reaps the profit off from it. And he does it by creating drama. And if I'm out here talking on here, okay, just like I am right now, and you guys are in the chat here, this show would be a reaction to his drama, in parts of it, not all of it. Now, at this time, I'm not monetized. So any money made here are going to be made off from the people that follow him and him himself. And he brings my name up enough. I believe he's making a little bit off from it. And the people that surround him make more money off from it than he does, probably, as far as when they come after me. I'm just a small potato here. His name itself is bringing the money in for these people. And any of them that he allows to use his trade name, if you will, they're able to cash in on it almost immediately. And every time I go out there and search a little bit, I find more and more channels that do use his what the hell's name on their channel. So, and none of them are people that like me, apparently. I seem to be one of those guys they love to hate, and not one of them knows me. Okay. Pebs, I see you're in here. Donations are good so he can and his followers can pay everyone. But he seems to think he's got all his money hid in the LLC type setup. I don't know how. I only know of a couple of them that he's got out there, and they're not assuredly. He can't move too much money around out of them if he does start losing in court. So there's something there. And I don't know what his attachment is to the company, how it's addressed, but it doesn't necessarily protect you when it's part of your system. And if the YouTube itself, as he claims, he is losing money and having a hard time. So he's creating the thread back to the LLCs by the claims he makes on a regular basis, saying that that's how he makes a living. And when they're found out that actually the big portion of his living actually comes off from the things he does here on this channel, it grew by over 240,000 in a 2-year period when he switched to mingling this type of a channel in there. It grew very quickly for a little bit. A lot of hate channels will go to a certain point and then they kind of plateau. And they have to find a different way of explaining their hate to get it up to this next step. Right now, the best way they're doing it is claim to be a victim. To give you an example, okay, one of the people that claimed to be a victim, this goes back to, I think, somewhere between 2017 and 2019, actually went on there, and I guess he had a raggedy looking mailbox, and it got knocked down, and it made good fodder for him to be able to collect a little money by going on there and claiming to be a victim over it. Also, the same type of person uses the same verbiage on his channel even up to today, claiming to be a victim in some way or another. People being after him, making threats, this kind of stuff. And he used it pretty thoroughly, and a lot of it, and is known for that. You go into, I think it's Kiwi Farms or wherever it is, and you see a lot in there, and you put the person's name up there, and man, you see all this stuff over since 2017, I believe. And the type of people that are drawn into it. There's no way they can get around the way they're making their money. They pick a particular part of drama. What it is play victim and attack the person they think are attacking them, even though it's a reactionary thing. Starts the fight, hangs back, and lets it roll out. Is how it's run. Similar to what goes on in here. That way, if I come out here and I make a mention of him right away, it's a big deal. You see, he can make all kinds of assumptions, but as far as his minions are concerned, I can't, which is all bullshit. Yeah, the people who follow, they don't care what these people do. You know, they follow the creator of those channels, no matter whether it's moral or against the law, no matter what it is. They're entertained. They're having a ball. And I'm amazed at how much money they hand over, but that's the way it is. You know, it's kind of that day I seen that woman in a wheelchair there at Otter Creek hand over some money that was rolled up to Jeremy while the meeting is going on. You know, and it was out over the internet. And guess who took that video? I believe it was Willis. They put it out there. I guess they thought that it would draw more people in to give more money. To me, it looks pretty pitiful because it's obvious the woman didn't have a whole lot. And living in a small town like that with very little funding of any kind, and hand over a few bucks. Yeah, I would say that the woman has a big heart. It's unfortunate the guy she gave it to doesn't have that type of empathy, because he gladly accepted it. So just shows you what you're dealing with out there. Little bit says I got to go make dinner and we'll be listening. Pep says I looked for hours and couldn't find it. I'm not sure what you're looking for, Peps. I missed it because I was talking. I wasn't doing my job, was I? Ruth said she quit when he abused Mary. Yeah, that was quite a show, wasn't it? You know, even the sheriff's department couldn't believe he was going to press charges. Did you guys see the video on that when he showed the video of him actually doing it? Now, there again, somebody was there videoing the whole thing for him. You got to think it's a put on that somebody he figures how to get under their skin. He does it and has a video the whole time, and then runs to the sheriff and says he was assaulted by this woman that is about 5 foot or just a little over 5 foot, maybe, comes up to his shoulders. And she was in her 70s at the time. And it was only, a week later that she had either a stroke or a heart attack. And is still recovering. So, and that's been a couple of years now. Ed says, Jeremy Needle needles guapo into deleting airport live video where he said some incriminating things. But I was on the live. I heard him call his supporters stupid. Well, people, I have his live, okay, where he did the same thing. I have the live. You see, when my video got struck, YouTube took it, but it was a blog that I had recorded. I have that. I know when he struck it, he thought he was destroyed. I'm sure he thought that that he took everything. There's a lot of things that he called people on that video. And there's some things he talked about between where he lives and Otter Creek. It shows what he thinks of the people that he has worked with and the people that are his subs. There's remarks. I made it into a interview because I didn't think people were listening to what he was saying. I think that the people who come in there are hypnotized. And so no matter how he says or does something, they don't listen to the meaning of what they're saying. And I made sure the meaning came out, and that's why it was struck. Now, the one problem I have with it is right now that particular computer has been down for a while. And I've got to get it worked on. Yeah. So by the time we get to court, I will have that. I guarantee you. And he will also probably have a copy of it. And I'll bet you anything, he's got a copy of it anyway already. I'd almost bet it. That didn't make him very happy. And it's probably why I'm being sued right now. I'd probably upset him. I'll tell you something else that was said not too long ago, okay, on one of the creator channels out there, that I should have known better than to mess with a millionaire. See, I was complaining a little bit about it. People get in civil court, and the people with the money normally will win in civil court. And you know what one of the reasons is? Somebody that doesn't have quite the type of money it takes to fight these charges, and the charges are all bullshit as far as I'm concerned. And with him, he's got the social backing because of all the people that sub to his channel. He is a millionaire, and you know that. No matter where you go, what you're going to say, they don't necessarily tell you how much money he's got, but his investments are worth more than that right now. And if you look at it closely, you can see that the way he's doing it in a federal court, he can run it out for years if he wants to. And if he's making money off from it, then why not run it out as long as you can? Okay. I mean, it's a moneymaker. It's like a little factory. So the more people he can get involved in here, and the longer he strings it out, the more it goes in his pocket. That's real simple. Now, the people who follow him, I guess they've never thought about it in terms of financial. All they think about it is somebody like me. I mean, he's already told him and his followers how old and senile and you know, I may even have Alzheimer's. And, there's quite a few different things. Oh, and they love my singing so much that I heard somebody that had been a very good friend of mine at the time. They used a dog to copy my singing, which, I mean, to me, it's no big deal. I know I'm not a very good singer, so you don't hurt my feelings at all. I don't sing to be a good singer. I actually found out that by a Canadian study that it keeps your lungs healthy. It gets rid of some of the phlegm, and it helps build your diaphragm muscles up. And it works as good as if you were out walking around. Or I haven't ran in years. I can't. I run out of air too quick. It was a Canadian study, and I used the Canadian program for my singing. So it never was meant to be entertaining. It's just one of those things that I use. I guess it's not any different than trying to lift weights. You sit in front of somebody and lift weights, well, it won't be entertaining, right? But I'm following a regime that was proven. And because of it, I was able to keep my lungs intact, and you couldn't see any deterioration over the 10 years. Now, in the last 2 years, I've messed my lungs up a little bit. Let's put it that way. I've gotten sick a couple of times. And the RSV took a big hit on me a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, last Christmas. And also had some damage that it did to my wife, which is part of the reason she had so many side problems fighting the broken pelvis. And it's the reason I wheeze on here every once in a while. You hear it, when I'm talking or what I'm saying, especially on a cheap mic. This is a $19 mic. It's not anything. But anyway, they love to make fun of things like that. I have a problem. I can't help it. I smoked. I caused my own problem, COPD. It's destroyed 2/3 of my lung right now. That's how far it's went. Along with that, I've got sleep apnea. It's like getting a double hammer hit you with. So what do? They make a whole show over it so they can make fun of it. They love to do stuff like that. And it's kind of like when that poor lawyer that was representing Michelle and John, he died of a heart attack. And how did they make his widow feel? Well, they tell her they're going to take all of her money because of what his husband did, and she knows about what he was doing, so they're going to punish her. And he says, too late, I have to sue him now. Yeah, right. The justification that's used for this stuff, it's just way out of this world in another world. But the people that follow him, they take it as gospel. And I'm beginning to wonder how you can get that many followers like that. It don't make sense to me. And when I was younger, I thought people use their head, but not if they find a leader that'll do the leading for them. I guess they're too lazy to really think about what he's saying and what he's doing. But that's on them, not me. The fact that I don't like being called out on something like that, well, I'm just normal. I don't care to have it done. But I'm not going to get so bent on a shape that I can't go on with life. But it gives them another reason to think that I'm going to go after them in an illegal way. And that is not the case, folks. I'm not going to go down there and do anything to those people. I've got to get squared away from the legal aspect. I'm not down there to take aim at anybody. Okay? So anybody that thought that can go ahead and get a night's rest. They don't have to worry about that anymore. At least I hope they don't worry about it. Yeah. Welcome to Ray's house. Please hit the thumbs up. You enjoy the content, and subscribe to Ray Bone Crusher. Make sure you are all in the live chat, not top chat. Yeah. If you don't get in the live chat, you won't be able to see 9gens. So get on there and get the right set. From what Lisa said, that CPS is real tired of those turning Michelle in all the time for nothing. They're keeping records, and hopefully people will be held accountable. You know what gets you? Think about this. They're having to go after Michelle and John. And every time they went over there, they have not found anything critical enough to write them up or take action on anything. Okay? This little girl has known nobody else's mom since the day she was born. They're taking time away from CPS, sending them out there on foolish errands, on somebody else's word. They themselves haven't been in there. Time is needed for other people. When you take people, now they have a job that's to protect children, not foolish games of swatting, because that's exactly what it is. It's swatting. It is against the law to do that. One of them is going to get picked out one of these days. They're going to come back on them. You know, the channels out there that have been pushing this, that have a lot of followers on the social media, they're going to pay the price one of these days. Somebody's going to get nailed, and it's not going to be very nice. What really bothers me, though, is the people, the children and parents out there that really need help from CPS. And these people are having to spend half a day out there at Michelle and John's and another half a day doing the paperwork. And that whenever it's a threat of physical, then the sheriff's department has to accompany them. How would you feel if you had a child around 3 years old that had to be stripped so they could take pictures of every inch of her body? How would you feel about that? How would you feel when they come out and do a drug test on that child? How would you feel if your child was continuously asked questions? Most of the time, same thing over and over and over. How would you feel if she'd been visited over 40 times in a 2.5-year period? How would you feel? Now, I can tell you, one of the guys that is a creator out there has had to go through at least one thing like that with his own, and he would still use that stuff on somebody else. Not for hate, for money. When I was looking at the things that happen, you know, sometimes people get hateful because of things that happen to them. This guy uses things that happen to him as a way to make more money. Well, he'll mention something about me going after him probably. I don't have to use his name. This is nothing new. People that hear me talk about it, they know who the heck it is. And, you know, when one of his kids was born, you know, the picture went out, not somebody else doing it. This channel. Lord, I would never put one of my young kids out there like that, because I don't want somebody else to use them to make a show out of it. And I know, you know, in the beginning, Facebook was used mainly so you could send pictures back and forth to the relatives. We could do that before with regular email. Now, you didn't have to use Facebook. Facebook seems to be a medium for building their career. And actually, they prove that most of the things that are on Facebook are lies. People create a different life on there than what they actually live. When it all adds up, it adds up to something like what's going on now. Now, what would happen if a child would get hurt very bad and the CPS person that would have been assigned to it was out on a call that had no substance to it, like when they go out to Michelle's and John? And what if it was a threatening type where they thought the child was being struck? And they had to take the sheriff's department with them as well. So you have an area that's limited on funding to do these things in the first place. They're taken out for foolishness so that people, hateful people, can use that funding up. And right now, there's no repercussion for it. Can you imagine the cost that has been accumulated for 41 calls into CPS in Meade County? Okay. Yeah, Pebs, I agree with you about Jern, about what he thinks of the authorities. And he don't mind telling you on his live shows about it. You know, what was I thinking? It says CPS is stretched so thin in budget and personnel. I hope the fines are severe for all those false reports and intrusions. Yeah, the ones that are doing that, they are horrible people. They don't give a damn about people that really need that help. So they would rather send them in there to do somebody else's dirty work. They haven't, these guys that are making these calls, they're going by somebody else's word. You remember when that one guy from California, there's no way in hell he's ever been over to see John and Michelle and a child, but they're going as gospel what somebody else is saying, and they don't know the real deal, what's going on there. I don't think the sheriff has ever accompanied CPS. They only come if they feel threatened or you will not open your door or gate to them, which we always do. If I remember right, John, I don't know if it was the police or the sheriff, was out there at your gate on a call when they thought that Michelle had slapped your little daughter. That's what I'm referring back to. They have to accompany CPS if there is a threat of violence towards a child. That's my understanding. I know for the last few years it's been tough on a family that can't go to a store without looking behind them or looking in their mirror or watch every time they change from one aisle to the next without running into somebody maybe. Yes, I agree with you, Phil Claw. Yeah, that's my understanding too. You know, that one where they claim John was on their property. And if you look in the right mirror, you'll see he's on a blacktop road. And Jeremy don't own that road. And he's got everybody believing that John went into his property and caused that commotion about that particular video. But the hell of it is, his minions are so stupid, they don't look at the facts. And all you have to do is look in the passenger mirror while that's going on, and you will see the blacktop behind John's truck. Oh, Peb's made banana pudding again. Yeah, I've seen a few of them in the chat when they're talking about what he does, and they say, well, what do you expect? He's got to do something. He said, the sheriff's department won't do anything, and the town won't, and so he has to lie and cheat to get things noticed. That's coming from comments, by the way, not out of Jeremy's mouth, but out of the comments. I think, John, when you got arrested, that yo-yo that was there, somebody had said in the that he had said something about Jeremy needed some charges. They took a guy's word that had shot at cops and had been shot by the cops that sold drugs to children, and he was selling them on school grounds. That's the guy that they were kind of snuggling up to. And if you don't believe it, his own video shows it when Duane or Diane, or whatever her name is, and George were up there going from one deputy sheriff's car to the other, to the other, to the other, back and forth. I mean, looked like they were all good friends, joking and shaking hands, and and the verbiage that was used is amazing. And that video has been out there several times. Matter of fact, if you Shara put out the longest version of that whole thing, and it has been showing the FOIA on it. So when you think about all these things that were going on back then, and it was, to me, looked like a put on from the very start. Initially, when I seen all that, and I was following Jeremy's channel, I was in the motion too, of thinking, well, whatever it takes, if people are making those threats. But it doesn't take long to see through the threat. And once you sell yourself down and you look for yourself, you can see that the whole thing is a put on. That's it. What John was doing, if anything, and I think I explained it to you guys a little bit about stand your ground. And I took some heat over explaining the laws, because what they said was that apparently I'm going to be going down there to utilize that law, and I'm trying to get other people to use it on as an excuse, I guess you might say. But the stand your ground law changed somewhat down in Florida, but it is pretty close to the one here in Iowa. And it is, you can stand your ground. It don't have to be on your own property. You can stand your ground when somebody accosts you and you think it's a threat to your life. And that, it used to be that if you had an exit that you could get out of, or you could run. That is not the case today. My advice would be, if you can get out of there, get out of there. Don't take a chance. You don't want to prove your point. You don't want somebody to take a shot at you, for sure. You want to stay away from that kind of stuff. And you don't want to dangle it to make, to put yourself in danger. It's not worth it. But it is there to protect you. Just be sensible about it. Don't go looking for trouble. Because if you're there arguing with somebody and aggravating the situation, it doesn't stay in you can't use it for defense at that point, because it's something you baited. From what I've seen, he does the baiting. And if you look at that report from the Sheriff's Department, one of the reports, okay? And it actually states in there that the aggressor was Jeremy. So, and if you don't believe it and you want me to show it to you, I'll show you the paragraph. I won't show you the whole thing. It was gotten on a FOIA, the information on it. And I've got all, let's see, I think there's 4 different ones that I've got, okay? One of them was sloppily done, but I'll tell you what, when they went back, they measured the distance to the inch. They know the speeds of the car when it goes by, the whole works. They have a big imagination, and they do everything they can to put John and Michelle into a bad light. Yeah, Jeremy loves to put things down like that, or take a sentence that might even be on a phone and use it in his behalf, and it's not proof, and we know that. But when he uses it as a stick, you can give your opinion on it, because what he said is not proof. Just be careful how you say your response to it, so you don't get in trouble. How you doing there, Linda? Yeah, wait till one of the fans get caught. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. As far as him getting a bunch of weapons and stockpiling them and stuff, I don't think he might use a scare tactic of saying what he's got, but he himself is not what I would call military minded. And all that's going to happen is his big mouth will get him in trouble before he actually does something physically. My thought of the whole thing is that if anything happens, it'll be from one of the minions. There's a lot of crazies out there. There is a guy out there. I'd give you his channel, but it's so obvious that there's something wrong with him. He's put a lot of comments up about me, and he doesn't know me from anybody. And he only had about I think 6 followers or something like that. The guy has obviously got a problem. I don't pay attention to him because he don't make sense. He lives in a different. His reality isn't ours. But what if somebody like that got it in their mind to go after somebody? That would scare me before I would think about Jeremy actually doing something like that. Jeremy's in there for the money, and yeah, he probably does really hate us guys that disagree with him. But he likes money more than he likes to. He don't want to lose it all by making a stupid physical move. And he also knows that he probably can motivate somebody else to do it over a couple of different shows. And you take somebody like, let's say, Radis. Now, he's been doing that diary thing on Michelle for a long time. And I know he thinks it's cute and he's really doing something, and he likes to make a comment about everybody out there from time to time, including myself. And he uses AI to harass you, and there's not much you can do about it because apparently YouTube don't care. It's been used on both sides so far. But the real hate ones come from Jeremy's side. And those people do it so much, they're getting pretty good at it. The bear says, who are we talking about right now? I do my best not to use a lot of names, Barry, but when you're on here, you know who the subject will be if we're talking, and by the way we're talking about it. Oh, let's see. Silverheart. Oh, hi. GG in here? I must have missed it. I get to talk and I forget to look in the chat, and then the chat gets away from me. Oh, Peps, you're right. It's pretty convenient to come up with the same things in different videos every time you get a different locker, but the content, some of the jewelry is the same. If you remember, do you guys know PBS? Not PBS, but that's Peps. Do you guys know Psycho? He knew Jeremy back a long time ago when he was just getting started. And he witnessed some boxes being put into a locker. And then later on using it as a surprise, look what I found in here. So One thing I look at, if the box has got some dust or dirt on it, and then all of a sudden it's got this nice clear tape on it that doesn't have any dirt or anything on it, and their eyes light up as they take a knife and cut it open. And I'm looking at it and I'm seeing, well, this is a tape over a tape. And it's consistent, it seems like, on different lockers. I'm not perfect at knowing how to do that stuff. Psycho Bible wrap, yeah. PBR, that's what I was trying to think of. PBR, that's what PBR is what we were using instead of saying it all out. But you're right, he's the one that had seen that happening. You can go back to one of his videos and he'll tell you about all about Jeremy. That's going back in quite a few years. I don't know if he was friends with Guapo or not. Well, when he's doing those lockers, remember he makes comments as he goes through about different people. He still manages to use them in a negative way. Somebody out there thinks that I have something I'm what do they call it? That I don't know if it's into sexual things or whatever. When I talked about somebody that is that way, a while back I talked about that blow up doll that usually shows up at bachelor parties and things like that. That shows on this one guy's video. He thinks it's okay, it's behind him, and I called out on it and mentioned it. And what got me was, and now you can see the bed in the background, right? So one day this blow-up doll was on the other side of the bed. I don't think it was on the bed, but on the other side of the bed, and has his legs up in the air. And I said, the doll moved. It's over on the other side of the bed now. He showed it that way, and now he's got it fogged out behind him. And sitting back in a chair again, or whatever it was that he had it there before. But it's been on his show for, I think, at least a year. And this is a guy that goes on the internet. He trolls the internet, and he tries to find women doing things in a bad light. And then he screenshots it, and he'll take one after another, after another, after another, and put it up there for content. This is when things are slowing down a little bit. So he used it. So because I mentioned these things, they think I'm fascinated with this guy in some way, that there's something wrong with me because, and they said that I hate him so bad, and I'm thinking, man, I'm just showing you guys, you're putting something off on me, and I'm not the one doing it. It's somebody else. I mean, it's not any different than Jeremy pulling a vibrator up to his mouth and pretend like he's singing into it, or the fact that he licks those tit covers or whatever they are that he found that time. It goes on and on and on. If you really look at something, you can see what a person is. And then they go out and they use that against somebody like one of us out here. If we say, well, what's he doing that for? Then all of a sudden we're fascinated in sexual toys. That's not the case. If I had children coming around my house, that that guy out in California is able to see his children, and you have that stuff laying around, how do you explain it to them? I mean, come on. Let's not get stupid around. Young kids shouldn't be exposed to things like that. They're jokes for adults, maybe, but my goodness, you wear it out. I mean, if you have it on every week, you're showing this stuff, and the people that call you out on it, then you call them being infatuated with sex toys. Come on, use your head. Now, I'm not talking to the people that follow my channel. I'm talking to these minions out there that think it's cute. I think it says something if a person's up there and they're having women trouble, okay, personally, because, what the heck, I'm not saying divorce is the wrong way to go, but what I am saying is that you get divorced and then all of a sudden you put all this stuff about women in a negative manner. There's something wrong with you. You can only cross somebody you can't get along with. That doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't get along with them better. And for that particular guy, I think it bothers him worse that there's a colonel down there that goes with her. Maybe he's one of those that he's done with her, but not really. There's a lot of guys out there that can't stand. They want to throw the woman out, but they don't want her to find a life that she can be comfortable in. And he spends all his time trolling women's channels out there so he can show how bad they are. The whole world, as far as he's concerned, is full of Karens. Okay. Yes, Pebs, you're right. PBR was on Lisa's show. It's been over a year though, I think, when it happened. There were some people went after her because he was on their show, and he speaks out real quick about how he feels, and he's not afraid to say what he does feel. He says a pretty. John says, "I'm wondering how many he's gone through." I don't know. I could figure why he would want to show something like that on his show. Heck, Ed says Jeremy makes YouTube about $60,000 a year, at least by my calculations. Well, I think it would be more than that, Ed, and I'll tell you why. The advertisement itself is a big chunk of dough for a show like for YouTube. Okay, not so much for Jeremy. He gets pennies on that compared to what YouTube does. I don't know what the full scope. I've never seen anything about how much YouTube actually does make on the advertisement, but the people going their channels don't make a whole lot off from the advertisement. And where you make your money is like now would be chats and merchandise, things like that. The chat, I think, can be a big one. Jeremy put that one day. I think he had over 6,000 in 1 hour just off the live chat. But I've seen even a couple hours raise over 30 grand, for donations. That was for that time for that lawyer, the aunts that were trying to intervene and had claimed the adoption was illegal on Harley. And I don't know where all the money went or how much money was on the final end of being collected. But there's only 2 things that were filed, I believe. So there was a lot of money went into an empty hole. Yeah, Betty. Have you seen? There was one not too long ago where he threatened to sue her family, Martha's family. And then, you notice here lately, he had Martha's son on that, where they went to that petting zoo. But I seen him, I can't remember where they were going, but he was making fun of him out there. And it doesn't seem to bother Martha for the way he talks about his son or to his son. Not his son, but her son. I'm surprised of what he gets away with, let's put it that way. And the only thing I can think of is George must be fully infatuated with Jeremy, or she certainly must have thick skin when it comes to him. I mean, look at all them times that she was mimicking Leslie and wearing wigs and doing all that stuff. And now all of a sudden it has stopped. But I think her eyes were open quite a bit, and she's still setting second to Jeremy in there, and he's still running the show. It's pretty apparent. And it looks pretty much like things are scripted if you watch her when she's talking. And her face still goes blank when he gets going in, whether it's a tirade or just he's out there mouthing stuff off. So I'm not sure what to make of I don't believe they're a real couple, but that's just my opinion, and that's all it is. I have no idea how they really interact. It doesn't look good on Martha's part. No matter what, she's going to look bad at the end. And I also notice that he's careful, and he makes sure that on things that are controversial, he has her involved in it. And if you go back over the last 6 months, you'll see where a lot of this stuff, if it comes down to a court situation, she's going to have to be careful. She's not going to be able to be a witness against him in a manner that would cause him to come back on her. Let's put it that way. So, and they're not married, so if she really wanted to, she could put his jewels in another place. Believe me. I guess he thinks he's got enough power that he can do about anything he wants to her. She's second seat to him for sure. Wow. Wow. It's getting on, and I've been on here for a while. I think, let's see, I better bring this to a halt pretty quick. Yeah, it'd be hard for any of us to really guess what Jeremy's full income is. When you call him a millionaire, most of that comes by his own words. And as far as the amount, you can see how much he makes if you want to go on to look at what the average person does with what he has following him. But what you can see is what's on his chat. You can count that up anytime. There's a pretty good income coming off from that. The money that's being made by YouTube is hard to estimate, but it's more. I believe it's more than $60,000 a year. I'll have to put an inquiry out, because maybe somebody out there actually knows, or is not about Jeremy, just about what an average person does. That has the same specs maybe as Jeremy, but not. There's no way I can get information on him, for one thing. It's private to him, except in the court of law, as far as the way it's operating right now. And if he goes through with the entire part of his lawsuit, then it will be exposed. And That way everybody will know exactly what he paid, right to the penny. So, unless it's hid, I should say. Nothing is exact in this world. What part are you looking for, Marla, for your RV stove? Yeah, I agree with you, Bearded. She has a funny look on her face from time to time when he's talking. Yeah. Oh my goodness. uh, what is it, Marla, that you're trying to replace on your stove? Regulator under the cooktop. Okay. Silverheart says, when do you think this will be over? I don't know. I'm not very, I don't have a lot of experience with courts. And I don't even know if any of the lawyers out there could give you a true estimate. A lot of it's going to be between the judge and how he handles the court situations. If it was a state court, the state is pretty tough on setting guidelines and time limits, and they're not going to back off them as much. Like the federal court seems to can run on a long time. That one that was almost identical to this one that Jeremy's doing, it took that guy 5 years, and it was just him. And when you multiply it, like in this one court case that we're involved in against 10 people, that can complicate it. And the paperwork will be so horrendous before it's over. I don't even think a judge could read the paperwork that's going to be there. He won't have enough time in the day to go over it. So I don't see how that it can turn out all that great. It may just come down to the judge dismissing the whole case. Who knows? Or maybe Jeremy will get scared somewhere along the line and back out too. I don't know. Huh. I'll go and, is that on one of your videos, Bearded? I'll have to take a look at it. Wow. Yeah, you said you had to replace your whole air conditioner, Marla, last summer. Wow. What's for dinner? Let's see. I've got a sirloin steak sitting there, so that and maybe some fried potatoes and some cottage cheese might be the menu tonight. Something simple or easy to fix. Granny says, I think it might be as soon as his supposed lost income is when he may choose to walk away. I don't know. Sometimes I think that when he started this, he may have felt that by putting so many people in the fire at the same time, that some of them would fold and make an offer by default. I don't know. Offering somebody, I'll dismiss your side for X amount of dollars or whatever. You're supposed to negotiate as much as you can before the court actually takes off. So who knows how all those things are going to go out or how someone's going to react. I think most of the people who are being sued right now are pretty upset. I don't know how all that'll come out. I mean, he's tried every tactic he can, saying that one or the other is a spy for the other side. Stupid things. There isn't enough money in there with the people who are in that case to even come close to getting $9 or $10 million. So that part's foolish and it's all bullshit. That's what it is. The way the world is going is pretty similar to what's going on in all the small towns out there. Half the people hate the other half, that's all. It's a sign of the times. There's not much we can do about it. I know we can't solve problems in other countries. I hate to think that anything that we do in another country or whatever happens, that it ends up in a war of some kind. The United States has spilled a lot of blood over the years. Civil War, with Mexico, the World War I and II, Korea, Vietnam. Our servicemen, people have to go in and out. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth losing that many people. Obviously, if it's your relative, you never think it's worth it when it really comes down to it. We got drug into World War II when Pearl Harbor was, they took most of our Navy out. And I don't know why they were on one spot. It's beyond me. I just can't think people would be that ignorant. You don't put everything in one basket in one spot. There's a good chance you're going to lose everything in the basket. From the Vietnam days, they had the damn demarcation line like they had in Korea. and the enemy would come back and forth across that line. And if you cross the line, you get court-martialed. You know, your own country puts you in jail. It's not a good way to. I mean, if you're going to fight, you're going to fight. If you're not, you're not. And drawing a line in the sand is not a way to win a war. But it's only an opinion. I love my country, and anytime we can walk away from a war with as many lives as possible that were not lost, I think that is a positive. And it says, I want some good yam fries. You know, I've got some frozen fries in my refrigerator. Now you mentioned that. They're seasoned. They're good fries. I had some not too long ago. But I've got enough for another meal. Keep talking. Maybe I can come up with a menu out of my refrigerator. Oh, let's see. I'll see you later, Pebs. I'm going to get off from here sometime in the next 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's 4 o'clock here. So I'm gonna have to take care of the pets pretty soon. I got to get things ready for my own supper. America has a problem solving its own problems. They do. We're a good country. Unfortunately, we're a spoiled country. People don't think that you have to defend your rights, that you should turn the other cheek and walk away on stuff. And that's a good way to end up broke and under a dictatorship. You know, see how things like that work? Just look south of our country down here into Cuba and see what happened at Portal Island. Pebs, okay. What is Nine Chins? What is going on? Yeah, are you guys just joking around, or? Oh. Yeah, I've known quite a few people from Cuba over the years, and I feel bad what happened to their country down there, and also bad that they were used as a pawn back in the '60s between Russia and the United States. It made it pretty bad between the two countries, and Castro didn't help any. Oh, you made a big Philly cheese steak. Thanks, John. Now you just made me so hungry, my stomach's starting to growl. This is now I want cheesesteaks. You need some sleep? Well, you better go get it there, kiddo. That way you can take your sunglasses off and we can see if your eyes are bloodshot or not. The boss punishes you. Okay. Well, I think I've insulted the other side enough today to warrant at least 3 hours of video time out there, by my estimation, for everybody out there that hates me so bad. Yeah, they don't like to be called hate channels, but I don't know what else you could call them. At least we all have, and we all have freedom of speech, and we're allowed to have our opinions, unless Jeremy don't like it. Then you get to fight it out in court. I know I'm laughing about it, but it's the only way I can look at it without crying. And I say that a lot about things that shouldn't happen, or that I don't have a good explanation for, or an idea how to resolve it. Unfortunately, even though I'm up there and been on this earth over 80 years, I still don't know all the answers. But I sure thought I did when I was young. When I was a teenager, I figured I knew it all. And every year, I figured out how little I did know, or how little I do know now. But, it's a big world. And in this country, your opinion is one of the few that can get you in trouble. But in other countries, it can get you unlived. So I guess we could say we can get in trouble, but we're still walking the street, right? Tammy says, Tammy B, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Sending love, hugs, and prayers. It's the same to you, Tammy, and everybody in there. You're going to send love and peace for your way, and remember, be kind. I'll try to be. I've already been called out so many times because of my opinion on things. And, I'm not a brutal type. I don't go around ramming things down somebody's throat or any of that stuff. There's a few times when I get agitated, I get it out of my system in 10, 15 minutes, and I go on with life. I don't let anybody get in my mind where they occupy it. If they come up from time to time, it's because they've done something stupid again, or whatever it is. If they leave me alone, I try to leave them alone, and I'm the one that's getting accused of causing the problem. How's that? Yeah, John says ta-ta, and I think it is going to be ta-ta. And I'm glad all of you came on here. Have you noticed lately all those channels out there that have been using, like a lot of us are now, of telling everybody how much we like it and stuff? Ever since I've had this venue, I've tried to do something to that extent, but I really mean it. It comes from my heart. I'm not trying to sell anything. I come on here sometimes to defend myself against accusations, but and that's all they are out there. And for a lot of them, they're making their whole channel out of stuff like that. It's not just me they're attacking, by the way. I'm not the forerunner by any chance. I feel sorry for Lisa. She's really been, it's hard on her. Bruce, he's been nailed over and over and over. Super Dave, I mean, every time they get a chance, they take a swipe at you. Tom Collins, he lives right there in the pot where the pot's being stirred. He gives his opinion from time to time. Some of it is nice, positive. It's his opinion, and he sure is welcome to it. I'm trying to think of some of the others. That whole console that got turned upside down, and now it's slowly just kind of floating around out there. A town of 100 only has so many people that are willing to be on the console, and if you get somebody coming in stirring the pot, they can just bring the whole town down. Oh well, that's a lecture nobody needs to hear. They've heard it 100,000 times. All right. Well, we'll bring this stream to an end right here. And I hope you enjoyed today. And if you had something to get out of your craw, that you got it out today. I kind of left it up to a lot of people to say what they wanted to. And I didn't pick up on everybody there because I was doing too much talking and not enough listening. And I certainly didn't see everybody's remarks in here. But as normal, I'd like you to just bring it in when you can. I'm certainly, there's two Lees. Is that Gabe or Lisa? Because I never know. I try to keep it open as much as I can, is what I'm trying to say. Lisa, okay. Well, Lisa, I'm about ready to wrap this up today. Yeah, I'll stop by your channel over there, Beard. I'll see what you did with your flag. Sorry, I was like, oh, you're okay, Lisa. We just did the normal. We threw bricks at one side and we threw small rocks at each other, and that was it. No big deal today. Nine Chess says, see you, Ray. Yeah. At least I could see you on here. I could see what you're up to. Everybody else could see you. I couldn't see you for a while there. Two ladies, you can watch. Yeah, you can watch the replay. Later, Gators. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. It's it's a little after 4 here. I'm gonna take care of the pets. I'm gonna fix something for my supper, and that's about it. I think Robbie. I think he's live tonight. I think he is, but I'm not sure. Lisa will be back Saturday, I'm assuming, and maybe Sunday. And Peb says it was a bitch fest in the chat, me included. Lisa says, see y'all get swamped. Yeah. All right, everybody, goodbye. I'm gonna cut this off.